Okay, so here's the thing. If you've got a business, an LLC, or that you're concerned that may be exposed to potential creditor attack in the future, then you have to be super hyper diligent in making sure that that LLC does not hold a lot of assets. Because if it does, then there's going to be a great recovery for someone who decides to sue it. So there's some simple things, as I stated, that you could be doing right now to make sure your LLC is not completely judgment proof, but if they did sue it, they're not going to be able to get a lot of your hard-earned wealth. So what are some of those strategies? Well, let's assume that I have a limited liability company right here. All right, this is my LLC and my business, and I'm concerned that somebody could come after it at some point in the future. So what is the first thing that you should be focused on with your LLC? Number one, do not keep a lot of cash in your business. Okay, so I see this a lot with businesses. They'll have their checking account right here, savings account in the name of their business. They're just accumulating cash for expansion, to pay future bills that they know are coming up, and they just let this money sit there. Now, the problem with that is that if you're involved in a lawsuit and somebody sues your LLC, those assets cannot be stripped out at that point in time, or it'll be alleged that it's a fraudulent transfer. I mean, let's assume this. Let's say I had $500,000 inside of this business, okay, because I've got it for the things that I mentioned, or even for future taxes. It's all sitting there, and then a lawsuit hits, and they're coming after my business, and I think, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to distribute this money down to myself and just pull it out and put it beyond the reach of a creditor. Sorry, it's too late. You can't touch it. You've already missed your opportunity. So what we want to do then instead is, while we have the opportunity, let's draw these funds down. Only keep enough cash in your business to operate your business for a month or two, but always keep pulling money out of the business. So you're taking that money out to your personal name, and then you're putting that money over here into a Wyoming LLC that I call a banking limited liability company. All right, so I pull the money out and I put it into an LLC over here so it's protected. Now, you own the Wyoming LLC. So you've drawn the cash down here. Maybe down in business now I have $50,000 cash, but I have $450 over here. Does it mean that this business over here, now I've pulled the cash out, that this business doesn't have access to this cash? It still has access to the cash, right? Because you could take it out of here and recontribute it back to your business like this. Or another thing you might want to look at in this scenario is, let's assume that your business here, maybe your business has receivables. All right, so if you have receivables, that's an asset. So in that case, when I've done this transaction, I've pulled cash out of my business, then if I want to put money back into the business, the way I would do that is to structure future contributions as loans. Okay, so this is something that works out really well. You structure it as a loan. So now, instead of taking the money out here and then recontributing it back to the company like I originally stated, what we can do is we can enter into a line of credit agreement. Okay, a line of credit, LOC. So my Wyoming LLC agrees to loan my Orange Box, my active business LLC, the cash that it needs whenever it requests it. So whenever I put this line of credit agreement together for our clients, what I'll specify in there is that the Wyoming LLC agrees to loan the active business, say $450,000. And in exchange for that, the LLC is going to file a UCC1 financing statement against this company, which is essentially a lien on its assets. So I said accounts receivables, savings, equipment, all of that now becomes leveraged by my Wyoming LLC. So if somebody sued my active business, those assets could not be taken by a creditor because this company has a secured interest in those assets. And the thing about businesses and just individuals in general, if you own real estate, you know this, that the first person to get paid is always the secured creditor, the lender, right? The lenders always get paid first. So we would get paid first here by entering into a simple line of a credit agreement and then filing a UCC1 financing statement. That is like a deed of trust or a mortgage on your business's assets. Now, it doesn't work on real estate. It only works on, as I stated, personal property, right? That's the only thing, not real property. So the second thing you want to do is structure future contributions as loans. Now, let me just clean this up here so I can put the third one on here. The third thing I want you to look at is if you've set up a business and you have real estate in there, look at how to remove real estate from your business. Now, this can get tricky because sometimes this business here is set up as an S Corp or a C Corp for federal tax purposes. Now, pulling real estate out of there can have negative tax ramifications for that property. That's why we have to structure those types of deals in a little different manner. Typically, it's a friendly sale out of the company in order to move that real estate out. It's not uncommon that a lot of business owners, when they start out, they will buy a piece of property in the name of their business, and that's where they're running their business activity out of. But then they find out later on when we're talking to them, hey, by having that property in there, if your business gets sued, then your real estate is at risk for your business liability. You never want to have assets where you conduct business. You always want to keep them separate because your business has a lot of liability and is much more likely to be sued than the asset itself. When it comes to, if you think your LLC is in risk of being sued because of the nature of the business activity you're in, your best strategy is to strip the assets out of that business. But what's key here is if you're going to strip assets out of a business, do not attempt to do this on your own. Make sure you're talking to someone who understands the tax ramifications before you start pulling assets out. Pulling cash out is simple if it's a flow-through entity, such as an S Corp, C Corp, or disregarded entity. You can just pull that money out, and that's not going to impact you negatively from a tax standpoint. But it's when we get into other assets like receivables and real estate and equipment that we could have problems, and we need to analyze that to figure out what is the best way to get it out. Hey, if you got value out of this video and you know business owners who are in this situation right now and they've accumulated too many assets in their business, be sure to share this video link out so that they can get themselves protected as well. If you like it, be sure to smash the like button.